sincerely hope that they would trade wins in that fashion 50 times apiece. That would be my goal. Before we move on to talking a little bit more about these teams, I want to focus on some of the other squads here on the LEC. SK Gaming, Splice, and Origin. They each picked up their third win of summer. Slightly different fashion. I'm impressed with how SK played. Slightly frustrated with OG and Splice, but at the end of the day, it was a stylistic choice. They won their games. Verius, what's your take?
Very similar, to be honest, Quick Shot. I feel like SK really impressed me. They demonstrated a lot of composure and restraint yesterday, and I feel like their big carries, who have really become Sakura and Crownshot, have been stepping up more and more as the weeks go on. So I'm very excited to see how they stack up against some of the new changes that we're seeing in Misfits today. But also, the likes of Origin, they're the ones that have disappointed me the most, largely because, well, aside from Vitality, largely because considering how they finished the end of last split, it felt like that they had such a wealth of styles yesterday that they could pick anyone that they wanted and they could execute upon it cleanly. But so far this split, I feel like we've been seeing this slow, methodical, patient play, and against the likes of Fnatic and G2, which is now the benchmark if you want to be competing at the top end of League of Legends, period, you need to increase the speed of your games, and that's kind of what I'm looking for Origin over the next few years.
I still feel like we have seen some different styles from Origin. Their game against G2, for instance, they did have that faster style. They went blow for blow. It wasn't a win in the end, but I was still impressed to see that style coming through from them and for them to go and tango in G2's own game. And I think that we've all seen the team fight-oriented Origin as well as the split push, which they pulled off very well yesterday.
Let's see what they do today, because if Origin win today, it means the only losses they have are to the other two teams at Rift Rivals. Of course, it means they have to win today. You both talked about speed. You both talked about style. I want to turn our attention to Misfits. They're currently 2 and 3 today. Kirei and Leader will be playing. So Max on Febervin are on the bench. And you had the pleasure of casting Leader at EU Masters.
Yeah, this is actually Leader from that tournament in EU Masters. You can see he's playing against some familiar names. Inspired, Vander, Woolite, Larson, all on this Rogue team. This Misfit squad with Leader in the mid lane knocked Rogue out in groups, and he's on fire on champions like the Zed. He loves his assassins and would constantly blind pick this champion in the first rotation. That's how comfortable he was on it.
I can't wait. I've been talking so much about wanting to see this guy join this Misfit squad and how I felt like the meta enables him and suits him, but coming into 9-12, I felt like a lot of the flex picks were being nerfed. A lot of his champion pools were being hit. So how would he be able to perform? Would he fit in this style? But Moose said on social media that they've prepared this. They've been playing this all week. There is a tactical reason as to why they're bringing him in. And we'll just have to see how things play out.
Look, I mean, Leader, he's a pop-off player, right? He has insane performances. Look at this, 19 solo kills. That is absolutely absurd. He just goes off on his own, and these weren't just like solo kills 1v1s. He was pulling off 1v2s, 1v3s. This guy was doing it all in the regional scene.
Now, we've always had a history of mids in EU being sort of our premier lane and premier role. I felt the rookie class of 2019 has left me a little disappointed. I'm hoping that this man gives me faith again in EU mid. So no pressure. We'll have to see what he can do because there's a lot of pressure from Misfits.
I just want to draw viewers' attention to his champion pool that you just saw at the bottom of the screen. Akali, Zed, Irelia. These champions that get in your face, like to fight, like to outplay. This is what you need to be expecting today.
Let's see what he's going to get his hands on and how many of them are banned. I need to move us along because next week, G2 and Origin, as well as Fnatic, over and above the actual matches that you're going to see here, there is going to be a classic show match between NA and EU. Take a breath with me. The teams that will be playing are Youngbuck, Medic, Ocelot, Pekin, Deficio.
We were robbed.
Versus
we were robbed.
Westerice, Cobby, Reginald, Dyrus, and Steve. What do you think of the
I think they've gotten a master tier jungler against a support main.
What are we not in this game? Look, honestly, this might be the only game that NA wins at Rift Rivals.
Unbelievable. By the way, I have to draw attention to the fact that Pekin is playing AD carry. For those of you who don't remember what his AD carry and his support play was like, let's leave it with not great. Okay, look, we do need to move along because we do have a whole bunch of ready check to get into next Thursday, Rift Rivals. But for now, earlier in this week, Earlier this week, what could be the very first cat fox, it was something that was found in Corsica. Google if you didn't know, because I didn't either. We here at the LEC have been making our own pairings, and we're going to have a look at everyone's new favorite friend.
Ultimately, quick shot, there's a lot of questions that we can answer in the LEC. Ladies and gentlemen at home, dear audience here. And look, there's important ones. There's, G2 versus Fnatic.
cares?
Who's better? Yeah, who cares? Ultimately, who cares? Because really the number one question on everyone's mind, I can read your mind, audience, is really this. What do we call it when Yuumi is paired with another champion? Now, worry not. We've got it figured out for you. Frost gonna give me a champion. Let him go.
Okay, we're gonna start out easy. Ezreal, this is the number one
Cat
pairing.
boy.
Okay, a little bit harder. Pike.
Knife Cat. Give it to me. Look at him. Knife Cat fusion.
Victor.
Robo-Cat. Easy.
I'll give you that one. Aatrox.
Cats have 9 lives.
Or Demon Cat. Aurelia.
Nerf Cat. That free as Morello. Let's go.
Kog'Maw.
Exclusively with Pugma, it's Cat Dog. Otherwise, I don't care. No one plays this champion.
Okay, Gragas.
Fat Cat. Also easy. Sorry, Gragas.
Rek'Sai.
Dune Cat. Gotta have the spice, universe, etc. Old meme.
A little bit harder. Nico.
Ooh. Curiosity killed the cat. Let's go with that one.
The Curious Chameleon. And now, what? Twisted Fate?
Pick a cat.
Okay. Rengar.
So this one's complicated because Rengar's Knife Cat, so it's Knife Cat Cat. We'll work on that one. Next one. This is for you. Jinx.
Crazy Cat Lady.
Oh, God, easy. All right. Olaf.
Bro Cat.
Your favorite champion of all time. Sivir.
Go Cat.
Go Cat. Okay. Silas.
Copycat.
Deal. Nice. Hecarim Arcade.
With this skin, Nan Cat?
Nyan Cat. Oh,
Okay.
I'll give it to you. Udyr.
Man Bear Cat.
Nice. Vel'Koz.
Ooh, Cat's Eye.
All right. We kind of, that one's all right. Rise.
Rita Fiddlesticks in Book Cat.
Ooh, that's a good suggestion. Fiddlesticks.
Scaredy Cat.
Scaredy Cat. There it is. I mean, you love it. You look at the
he's
cats there.
cute.
It's great. Okay. Tom Kench.
Cat Got Your Tongue.
All right. And the most toxic champion in the game, Yasuo.
Hasakitty.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, you nailed that. All right, now back to some significantly less important League of Legends stuff. Who cares? Get us out of here. Good job. Nice. 3.
Now, that was a super serial segment with Man-Bear Cat, but we do need to talk about the schedule because we'll be raining cats and dogs here tonight. Let's take a look at the matches that we have to wrap up week 3 before we go to Rift Rivals. And Ender, I'm going to start with you. What's the most exciting of the day?
Ooh, I really like right in the middle. We have Origin versus Splice. Both of these teams not in the top 2, but still definite playoff contenders. I think this match will tell us a lot about where these teams are going to end up towards the end of the season.
I mean, it has to be Misfits versus Schalke. I want to see how Leader does on the LEC stage for his debut. Schalke's still trying to figure out where they cement in the LEC food chain, and a win over Misfits will definitely help them move further up in the bracket.
And of course, 2 very difficult games for Excel and Rogue to round out the day. I think it's the number 1 and number 2 teams. That could be one to watch. Look, yesterday was a tough day for the LEC fans at home because truthfully, you guys sucked. You lost the lead in the race for Superior
brutal.
Analyst, and now you're not first anymore. Look, it's not going to last long, so I have to celebrate if I can. Let's take a look with the picks. Ender is the odd one out here believing in Schalke. Did you know about the roster changes before your vote? Or
Yes.
And you still want to be wrong?
Yes, I think so. So ultimately, I think Kire and Leader are going to be a wild card for Misfits, and to me, it's more of a coin flip between whether or not they can actually perform. And I think mid lane is going to be super crucial in this matchup. And I have faith that Trick, with his defensive pathing, can punish Leader's sometimes over-aggression.
So that's the only one that's different.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
And the rest of us are spot on. Vedius, you're still awful at the prediction game
Yeah,
right now.
it's
What
called-
happened?
I like to, so when I came into the beginning of the split, I said, I'll take risks early to get an early lead. And then a lot of my risks kept failing. And then I stuck with the mentality, if I keep taking risks, surely they'll pay off.
You definitely fall into that trap,
Yeah.
especially if you're losing towards the end of the season, you're like, well, I guess I got to vote Rogue over G2.
we take the prediction game very, very seriously. So, of course, we have to meta game the prediction game. So I hope you guys think about your strategy and figure it out because right now, you're not in first place anymore, fans. Let's move on as Vitality is playing in the first game. And earlier this week, Ender and Frost gave some strong opinions on the team in Euphoria.
But I need to look at your motto. Jacob, I love you. Fix your shit. I don't know what is happening here, but this looks like a managerial problem where hard reset into the team, have your kumbayas, everyone hold hands, and get back on track because we know that Vitality should be able to do this. This should be a meta that they thrive in. They have an early game jungler who's like, you're coming down here with me, and they have 2 massive carry top laners. All Jack Troll and Atrilla need to do is just sit and farm it out. Play Sivir and don't die to Sonateric.
Yeah, so that would be great. For me, communication seems to be an issue. I agree with you there, but also just trust. I think that this team hasn't won a game in over 100 days. That is ridiculous for a team that was our second best team for like 6 or 7 weeks in Spring Split, right? Over 100 days since their last win. I think it was against Spring Split Rogue that they got that. Like, it's been a while. So for me, I see this team like, I don't think they're ever picking themselves back up in this current iteration, because I think once this happens, when you were good and now it's all falling apart with like very serious mistakes coming in, I think you lose trust in your teammates, whether it's bot laners losing trust in each other or a guy like Cabochard that's literally looking around him while his entire world is burning. It's like the picture of the dog while the entire house is on fire. You know that meme? Like, that's how he feels right now. So I don't think this team can have a kumbaya moment and be like, you know, we'll rally you with a speech. Yamato gives a whole lot of speeches to this team. They don't seem to be fixing anything. So until you make a roster change, this is how I feel, until you make a roster change and then can pick up a win, you don't have trust anymore.
You can watch Euphoria every Wednesday on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. I'd like to welcome back Chakres, because yesterday you promised to talk to me about Karma. And seeing as she's got 100% presence between LCK and EU, with 20 games, 17 bans, and 3 games played, let's quickly summarize. What was the buffs that came in on 9/12 that's made that possible?
Yeah, so she got 3 buffs. Q slow is up, mana cost on shield is down, but more importantly, and this was what really pushed her over the edge, is the 2.5 seconds of movement speed on her shield.
And how does that help in pro play? Why is it that all of the teams are now using it?
So it's a relatively low cooldown, and Karma, at her essence in pro play, is an enabler. What she does is she just shields her carries and enables them to be able to enter team fights, to kite, to do everything. This is games from LPL, I think 9.10, so before her buffs even, and BLG ran this Sivir, Yuumi, Olaf, Karma comp, and what the Yuumi and the Karma are doing, they're just buffing up the Olaf so he can run in with Conqueror and just smack people about, right? Because he's very squishy still, but with all those shields, he just lives.
I mean, that shields are really important to note, because like I'm watching Olaf now, he's got the Ragnarok on. I think towards the end of this clip, he actually goes down. And then you notice this Yuumi and Karma, they just shift the utility to another carry to finish the fight.
Yeah, exactly. They just shifted the gangplank to the Sivir and to keep them alive and make sure that they can do their job and clean up the team fights. It just runs over you.
Now, what was nice about this clip?
So this clip here, this is the Flash Predict. They're trying to kill Caps, right? And here, Hylissang is going to chase. He moves back to Reckless so he can get the shield, and 2.5 seconds of movement speed is so much that he can just run him down.
I absolutely love that. He actually realizes that with the movement speed, I can get the kill, so steps back, picks it up, and then goes forward. Look, I like the gameplay. I think it does make sense when you talk about it on paper. How should I or pro players be preparing at home? What runes do you want to see?
Okay, so Karma has multiple setups, and this helps her flexibility a lot. We've seen her top mid, and in the bot position. Yeah. So she's a triple quadriflex. If your name is Fnatic G2, you can definitely quadriflex her. But going into Keystones, Aerie is the safe option if you're playing mid support, just a bit more shielding, a bit more poke. Comet is now better, because her slow was buffed from 25 to 35%.
Really guaranteed.
Yeah, so you just hit all your comets. And then Klepto for top lane is really nice because you just get your stats.
Yeah, but listen, I see you put Ultimate Hunter on here. Is that a troll or is that serious?
No, so this is a situational rune. If you can afford to run it as a secondary path in domination, you go into Ultimate Hunter, because that can really put your mantra cooldown down, and you can get multiple mantras a team fight and look for mantra E into mantra Q into more mantra E's.
I mean, especially if you play like Fnatic did yesterday, right? With a whole bunch of kills and Piri and the same thing. Yeah. Look, itemization choices now, obviously cooldown reduction is very important, but what else do you want to see from Karmas?
So I'd personally love to see just a full burst Luden's Sorcerer's Oblivion Orb, but mostly what we're going to see is a very utility-based Karma. Luden's Echo is a good first item, gives you wave clear, gives you 20% CDR, and then usually from there she itemizes into Athene's, into Ardent Sensor to get that 40% CDR and get really cheap items to go into mid game with 3 items so she can spam shields. Iceborne Gauntlet is mostly for top lane against matchups like Renekton where she needs the armor but wants the CDR.
But basically there's flexibility, right?
Yes.
Depending on how the game's going, you can maybe go death cap, or if you need the armor and roll, etc. So flexibility in rune choices, flexibility in isolation. Truthfully, just one of the most flexible champions we have. Thank you very much, Chakarez. Look, one of the pioneers of Karma Top here in Europe, as well as many other picks, is G2's Wonder. Let's look back at his career in the very first episode of LEC Legends.
So I was first introduced to the world of Wonder when I was just starting out as a caster. Whenever tanks were in the meta, we knew that Splice wasn't going to find much success.
Magic, Splice, they control the chaos, and Splice has qualified for the 2016 World Championship.
Wonder was trying to battle this meme that he couldn't play tanks and that he could only play carries. And while they were able to get that amazing upset against RNG, from what I recall, it was too little too late. Things started to change when he joined G2. While again, Wonder was kind of drawing attention in the sense of he had these awesome outplays and he would have these really cool carry moments, it really wasn't enough.
Volcanic Rupture comes out, they help down. Flash forward from Reaper.
Oh,
Who gets that idiot? Are you kidding me? They are diving for the triple kill. Here comes Wonder. He just blows up upset using that Darkin Blade. G2 are Europe's third seed at Worlds.
The moment where Wonder drew attention to everyone was Worlds 2018.
Wants to pull him back. He's going to get the fear off.
Oh my God! And this is why he's considered one of the best top laners in Europe.
Progressively, the team gets better, and Wonder only seems to get better. And it stops becoming about can Perks carry, and it starts becoming about, oh, how well can Wonder carry?
He's made it back into the base, but Wonder flashes to the side. He'll be controlled, but never killed. And G2 finds their win.
But for G2 Esports, the team that failed in the finals of spring, they failed in the playoffs of summer, they only just barely made it to Gauntlet. Now they're in Game 5 against RNG.
Perfect play. G8. Uzi down. More Uzi down. It's all on Xiaohu.
G2 have just dismantled RNG, and they're gonna make their way to the semi-finals.
The G2 dynasty will be defined by taking down RNG.
They already got the pick onto the enemy jungler. So many people! That's the Aatrox damage! Killing spree over to rookie. IG clean house!
The moment that Wonder became a legend was actually the moment that he lost to the Shy. Him and G2 were thrown into the fire, and they kind of came out reforged as something stronger. So coming into 2019, he was like a different, revitalized player. Because G2 doesn't play around rules or constrictions or a meta. That is what allows Wonder to truly shine as a star.
We killed for G2. The re-engage from Wonder. He is just destroying Origin. And G2 ace Origin. Europe kneels to its champion, G2.
And while some may argue that he's still only a carry top laner, he's one of the best carry top laners in the world, if not right now, the best.
But not gonna get taken down the triple kill. Coming through from Wonder. He fails to clean it up. He may just look for the penta. Wonder going to get forward. Now going to look for the pit. Can he get it? Wonder. Will he find the penta kill here? The quadra. The penta for Wonder.
Rise joins the top side. Here they go.
All right, Abyssal Voyage will deliver Teddy to the back line, but Caps and Wonder are on the Nexus. They will not go quietly. The Nexus is being focused, but look at FLICKR. Nexus 1 or 2 more hits. Many more hits off. Wonder forces Game 5.
What we get to see is this top laner who now feels like the world is his oyster and he can play anything and everything.
And now on the backside, here comes Demon Flare, and it's a double kill already. Team Liquid push completely off.
So you have this guy who's just having fun, he loves what he does, and he's pretty damn good at it.
I absolutely could not take my eyes off that clip. Watching not only G2 success at MSI again, but in particular, Wonder's development and growth. Vedia said the line, he's only a carry player, but God damn it, is he good at playing carries. I remember when he was playing on Splice, I remember when he was tank meta, and I personally remember criticizing him a lot. He's evolved, the game has evolved, and it's just a whole new world.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see the rematch between G2 and IG, because I think that until he takes down the Shy, he's never going to consider himself the best, and we're just ultimately building that up. So I hope we get to see it one day. I hope he ultimately gets his revenge, but there's still a long road left to go.
Yeah, there absolutely is. Thank you so much for that one. LEC Legends with Wonder. You can check that out on YouTube as well. It's time to move on to our first game of the day as Vitality will be taking on SK Gaming. Both of these teams came off a win yesterday, so whoever wins today will get themselves that 2-0 week. I want to start with Vitality because it was the biggest surprise for me. We've got some clips on how they took down XL yesterday, and it was happy and it was good for me to see the progress from Vitality, but XL definitely made some mistakes.
But how depressing is it that you said the biggest surprise was that Vitality beat XL? A team that we regarded so highly picking up their first win. And while it was definitely a good win, while I think that we saw some crucial changes in particular in the jungle and some support bot lane picks, I do think that there's still a long way to go for this Vitality squad.
Yeah, I think the way that Mowgli worked alongside Jack Troll was really impressive. Whether it was the early game ganks, then using the Tahm Kench ult to go around the map and extend their advantages, I actually think that pick of the Tahm Kench is going to be crucial for Vitality. A team that likes to play through their solo lanes, it allows them to unlock the whole map.
I mean, Jack Troll is synonymous with Tahm Kench, has been playing exceptional in that for a long time, both on and off the Rift. And when we talk about Vitality, this is a momentum-based team, right? They have spurts of winning everything, they have spurts of losing everything. Ender, with a change of morale, with a win under their belt, could this be the fire that starts a winning streak?
Look, maybe, but ultimately a win against Excel for Vitality is a hollow victory. Yes, you'll take every win you can get. If you lose that game, this team will never come back, but now they need to build on that success.
Now, their opponents today, definitely a much tougher beast. SK Gaming yesterday, they took down Misfits in a very clean win. They've played with some new players. Vedius, what was your take on how they won the game?
I was really impressed with how well they played towards their win conditions. And while it was a little bit of a slow game from the side of Misfits, I was ultimately just blown away by how clean the entirety of SK were playing. I felt like FLICKR landing that game-changing ultimate allowed them to secure the Baron, and Crownshot, who's just been this growing, rising development talent on the side of SK, has only been getting better and better. And when you give him this signature champion, he's able to thrive.
Yeah, I thought Crownshot's Ezreal in particular was very, very impressive. And he actually, I think he got first blood too in that game by Arcane shifting forward very aggressively. It's that kind of fire that I feel like so many of these players on SK Gaming have that makes them exciting to watch.
It is very exciting to see not only the development of Crownshot, but Pyrion finding his groove, the comma mid yesterday working exquisitely, something that Vedius, you talked a lot about in the cast, and obviously Sakura coming in, and now it's not just the self-made show, there's more names added into the mix. Just as a tiny tidbit, in PGL yesterday I was talking to Camps and to Reckless, and I asked them a horrible question at week 3. I said, who's going to make playoffs? And they both said SK would be one of those teams. Didn't say Vitality, so we'll have to see how that's going to play out.
A bit of it is likely due to recency bias, but also you look at how SK have grown in only the last few weeks, and you can be optimistic because I feel like there's a lot of room for this team to continue growing. And in particular, this top laner for me is really standing out. His awareness as such a young player to the LEC stage impresses me a lot. And I think that Sakura has the ability and potential to be one of the top talents in Europe. And I just hope that we see continued growth from this team because I think that the longer the split goes on, this team is only going to get better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Sakura because even from watching him at EU Masters, I knew this guy was talented. I wanted to see him on the LEC stage because he plays such a lane-dominant fashion. With his ranged top laners, he is so mechanically gifted that he beats nearly anyone he faces.
While he looked fantastic yesterday, he's coming up a very difficult task in Cabo Shard today, but the team as a whole of SK are likely stronger than Vitality. Sakura is having that good first split. Let's see what he had to say with Law earlier today.
Thank you very much, guys. Laure here, and joining me today is Sakura. Thank you very much for joining me ahead of your game.
Thank you for having me.
You've been within the team for a few weeks now, and it's been clicking so well, but I want to have your point of view on you don't seem to agree. Tell me about this.
I mean, I wouldn't say like clicked super well, but slowly but surely, I would say.
So how do you feel in the team right now?
I feel like I'm slowly getting integrated and comfortable, but I'm still taking my time, like it's no rush.
I mean, you even had Reckless and Caps yesterday saying that SK Gaming will surely make playoffs. What is your take on that?
I mean, my expectation as well is to make playoffs at least, but obviously I think the whole team is looking to aim higher.
Awesome.
Obviously.
Really nice to hear. About the game yesterday, you got MVP, and I saw that one of your teammates, Crownshot, was complaining about that on Twitter, so I hope you bragged about this.
I mean, not really, but I mean, we just had a nice laugh about it, just because I had one good play, so I guess I got MVP. But yeah.
Yeah, made him jealous for sure. Now,
I mean, he will get his MVPs eventually, maybe even today. So.
Maybe today. I was about to ask you about this. Playing Vitality in a few minutes. What is your thoughts on the matchup?
Thoughts? I mean, they look better, obviously coming in with the win over Excel, right? But my expectation is they will play the similar style they showed like for the past 5 games or so. So I'm assuming I will play a more of a supportive role today and just let my team carry, most likely.
Where do you need to strike to take down Vitality today?
I guess my prediction would be aiming to get our bot lane ahead or just getting Pirin ahead.
Well, thank you very much for your insights and good luck on the game today. Now back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Laura. I'm Dracos. This is Frost. We're not just cat enthusiasts, but we're also casters. As it turns out, we're here to bring you Vitality and SK Gaming. And I'm incredibly excited because SK Gaming keep getting better and better from my perspective. And Vitality finally won a game, so I'm allowed to expect things from them again. And I think that we could see a very explosive matchup.
I think it's about rise for SK and recovery for Vitality.
You really love your R's. You did this at MSI too.
Love alliterations as well. No, I think it's fair to kind of set goalposts or expectations for both these teams. For SK, we heard it from other players, we heard it from the team themselves. They expect playoffs, and so you expect them to dismantle Vitality in their current form. For Vitality, we need to get back to 2018 form. Like, wind back the clock and figure it out. We had a good game against Excel, but does it continue today? This is the real test for Vitality.
All right, Vitality, first test after their match versus Excel. On the blue side, SK, of course. In turn, on the red, Crown Shots Ezreal. Banned away. Huge sign of respect there. Now, the Nico taken off the board as well. Generally a strong pick, but also something SK Gaming have loved to prioritize.
And so far, we are just going to the, for the throat for both these teams. A lot of focused bans. You know, Jack Troll's Tom Kench being respected and just denied right there. Attila not getting his hands onto the Draven. And I love the fact that we're also then rounding it out with Sejuani. But that leaves so many champions open, like the Aurelia, the Aatrox. But the thing is kind of checking in on these teams. They don't seem as eager as other teams in the LEC to take these power picks and to flex them between all of the roles.
No, and it's an interesting situation to be in, of course. Can severely limit your options in draft. The Karma will now be the final ban. We've seen what she can do across the world. You heard it from Chakarez and Quickshot earlier in the day. The Aatrox will be picked up. Now, see if Jizuke can bust that one out on the opposite side. Aurelia is the debate. I feel like you gotta take it. You cannot afford to give it up there. Will it get locked in the end?
It's just too terrifying when you give away both Aurelia and Aatrox.